It's the Playhouse Podcast with Kat and JJ.
Believe it. I missed everything.
Missed the show?
What am I going to do?
Check out the Daily Podcast.
We asked the question earlier this morning, if your phone was to ring this afternoon, who would you just not want it to be? Either you get caught up in a meaningless conversation, or it's always bad news when that person's name shows up. Who would it be for you? You got to hear the responses we got a little bit later on in the podcast. Here we go.
Get out with LPP. Can you help me? Get out with LPP. Can you help me? Get out with LPP. Can you help me? Get out with LPP. Everybody.
OPP is a segment. It's other people's problems. Basically, our listener therapy segment. Something's going on in your life, and you're like, man, I would really like to know what people think about this. You bring it at us, we'll throw it on the radio. Our listeners over the years have become very, very good therapists, and this is from Brianna.
All right, so she said, hey, Kat and JJ, I was wondering if I could get some advice from you and the listeners. I'm a female in her 30s, not overweight. I'm in shape. I'm recently getting back out into the dating world. However, I'm super self-conscious of a situation that I have. A few years ago, I was diagnosed with sleep apnea, which you don't have to be overweight to have that, but therefore I have to use a Cpap machine at night. Thankfully, it's not the full face kind, but still embarrassing. And when I'm not overweight and a young female, so my question is, when do I share this information with a new partner? On a first date, a few dates
It's got to be on your profile.
I'm scared once I tell them they won't want to see me anymore. Thanks for all your help. That's really sad that has to be a factor that deters her from getting back out there. I would say a few dates in, let them see the sparkling bee shine. Show your personality, wow them, draw them in, and then they'll have no excuse, unless they're real jerks and are shallow like that.
I don't often do this, but I feel like I can right here. Speak for men. And they aren't going to care at all if you put out.
So there's that.
They're not going to care at all if you get down.
Okay. So I'm going to share a CPAP.
This is going to be a big deal if you're playing hard to get.
I was with this guy. Not my proudest moment. All right. I was very young. I was like 21 and just had a crazy night. And the next thing I know, it was like I was laying next to Bane from Batman. And he just said, okay, good night. And this huge tube. And I just said, wow, this is what's going on. And then I didn't have my car there. I couldn't get out of there. So
Were you able to sleep?
No, I wasn't. I just stared out the window for hours and hours. And it doesn't sound like she has that huge machine. Maybe it's just that little one that goes into your nose, like
Still
oxygen.
make noise though?
Derek has one, but it's like, I couldn't tell.
Can't hear it?
No, not at all. So I would say a few dates and then unleash it. And then you're going to find your prince. He's going to either stay or go. But it's something that you deal with. And I think your saving grace is that you're in your 30s. We start to realize that real life happens after a certain point in life. Like in your early 20s, it's a no-go. But
so you're saying if you're up to 29 and using a CPAP machine, you're undateable?
I think you're very shallow when you're dating in your 20s, and you're like, nah, I want the hottest person, and they can't have any flaws. But listen, she wants to stay alive, and this is what is gonna. You have a great 10 hours with her all day, and she's gorgeous and fun. Just because she has to wear something on her nose to sleep, that's a little crazy.
Can you help me? Get out with LPP. Can you help me? Get out with LPP. Can you help me? Get out with LPP. Everybody.
OPP, other people's problems this morning, specifically Brianna's problem.
Yeah, it says, hey, Kat and JJ, wondering if you guys have some advice. You or your listeners. I'm a female in her 30s, not overweight. I'm in shape. Recently getting back out into the dating world, however, very self-conscious about a situation that I have. I was diagnosed a few years ago with sleep apnea and have to use a CPAP machine. Luckily, it's not the full face kind, but still embarrassing to me, not being an overweight young female. So my question is, when do I share this information with a new partner? Is it on the first date? A few dates in? I'm scared to tell him. Thanks for your help. And my advice is a few dates in. They have to see the you that you want the world to see. And then I don't know. If it doesn't work out, if they don't call you after.
How do you prepare for this first date? Do you bring it with and it's in the back of your car just in case?
She sounds like a lady. Like she's not going to have an overnight
Some
with him on
ladies
the first
go for it
date.
on the first round. What's the big deal?
Then he'll just know on the first date.
But do you bring it with, or do you go, oh, no, we have to go back to my house? I need to live.
I would think if it's very small and portable, that if she's going to do an overnight at someone's house, she'll bring it. But like some people just need certain apparatus to live. And this sounds like that for her.
So if you, and I'm really ignorant to the Cpap situation, but if you don't have it, you'll die?
Well, who knows? I mean, that's why when you're diagnosed, they give it to you so you don't die. There are certain people that could just like stop breathing and then you're done.
But you catch back up after a little bit, right?
Do you want to find out?
Well, I don't know. I hope I never live that life. But like if you just.
And don't say live that life. A lot of people have it.
I know. I'm just
you're
saying.
Making it sound like it's this terrible
I'm
thing.
hoping it doesn't happen to me, right? I'm just hoping it doesn't. The same as I hope I don't lose my foot in a farming accident.
That would
Same
be
thing.
tragic.
So let me get this right. You're going down the road and your car goes into the ditch and you got to live off the land and survive. You're not going to make it through one night because you're not hooked up to a machine?
Even if she doesn't make it the whole night, she's not going to get a good night's sleep. You're just going to sit there and you don't want to die or choke or run out of air. That's not going to be a good
I get that.
night.
Steven, thoughts on this whole thing here?
Well, first off, it sounds like she's got to be a little more realistic about things. You know, I've got a couple of friends that use Cpap machines, and I'll be honest, they are overweight. So I really do not trust this thing that she's in shape.
But she
or
says
what have
she's
you.
not overweight.
all right.
Yeah, you know, people say that sort of thing all the time. You know, I'll believe it when I see it. I haven't met anyone so far that's using a CPAP who's actually of a reasonable weight. So, you know, we'll put that off to the side.
Okay.
But, you know, in dating, you really just have to put your best foot forward. So I would say hold off on that. If you ever bring someone home early in the relationship, just try to go without. You'll probably be fine. It's not that big of an issue. You really just don't want to interrupt your partner's sleep with all that noise that it makes.
You know that if she doesn't wear it, you could die if you don't wear that. It's to help her breathe at night.
That doesn't sound realistic to me. You know, you can probably go without it for a while.
All right. We're good with this whole thing. We're good with this.
We need our phone screener
This
back.
guy.
I'm done with that. Lexi just texted, I have my own small mini CPAP machine like B is talking about, and I do bring it. It's portable. I have to. There it is.
God, it
It's
just makes
not
it a little awkward when it's time to get down, doesn't it?
You don't wear it when you're getting down.
But, I mean, afterwards, you're like, all right, you want to watch this Netflix film? No.
Then make it a last minute thing.
I got to breathe.
Or wait till they go to bed. If it's not making a ton of sound, wait till they go to bed.
Hey, good morning. You got some thoughts on this for us?
Yeah, are you guys still talking about the CPAP stuff?
Yeah. What are you thinking about this whole thing? When do you mention this in a date?
I mean, I think that, you know, it'd be something I would bring up maybe in the moment of when you're kind of planning to stay the night, you know?
Yeah.
You know, I mean, honestly, so many people have it that you have to be living under a rock to not even know that it's a common thing. And to the idiot that was just on the radio, my fiance and his dad are both like 6'4", 6'5", 230 pounds, very average normal weight, and both have CPAP machines. So,
What happened 50 years ago when they didn't have these machines? Did these people just randomly die at night and we just chucked them in the ground?
Or you just had horrible night's sleep, like always worrying if you're going to run out of breath.
Yeah, so I mean, not only does it like affect the person who has it sleep, but their partners. Cause I'll be honest, I literally was like, I gave my fiance an ultimatum. I was like, look, I know you need a CPAP because I literally record you snoring and then stopping breathing for like a whole minute,
Jeez.
and then it's like super scary, and then it was affecting my sleep, and like Like, I'm the hangriest person. So if I'm hungry, I'm crabby. If I'm tired, I'm crabby. And I'm honest about it. And I'm like, listen, either you're going to die, I'm going to murder you, or I'm going to like go buy a brand new bed, a fancy ass bed in the spare bedroom.
You ever pull the plug on that Cpap machine and then fart in it and see if you can smell it?
Oh, my God.
No, I would never do that. No, but they're so quiet. Like, it does not affect me at all. Like, I sleep better now that he has it because I'm not being woken up by snoring.
That's the one thing that stuck out to me that I take away from this year's craft beer tour. The amount of women who openly belch like sailors.
Get it, girl.
I could not believe it. They would come up to our booth. What are you guys doing here? Oh, and I'd be like, excuse you. I don't care if you
when
belch.
In Rome, though, they're at a beer expo.
You got to say, excuse me.
Guys don't always say, excuse me. Why are we held to a standard where we have to say, excuse me? We get 4 hours on a random Saturday to belch as loud as we want in public. And then they're going to go back to their like dental hygienist job and they can't do that stuff.
The amount of times I said good push or excuse you to random women on Saturday was buck wild. It had me a little shooketh.
We need days like that where it's just not societal's norm that we can just let it rip.
And my daughter waitresses at the Mexican Village as well. And she's like, hey, if you guys want to come by afterwards. And so my wife and I went over there and had some fajitas and stuff like that. And I just asked her, I go, how many people at a restaurant do you think belch out loud? And she goes, it's alarming.
Really? I would never.
She said, you come by, you want another cerveza?
Oh.
Yeah, sure. And I'm like, you gotta be kidding. Like, I don't know if I was raised with the most manners, but you like to think that you have some in public. But I
don't want to hear this. You wouldn't be saying this if it were only guys belching.
I would have. If it was inconsiderate belching. I'm just saying I was a little taken back by how many petite women had huge beer burps on the way out of the craft beer tour. It was great. I was shocked.
I would have just given so many thumbs ups. I think that's great that they could be themselves.
And then what the best is if they're with 3 or 4 other ladies.
Like a bunch of minions.
Never heard a beer belch before. Here's what I'm looking for real quick. Can you burp on demand?
No, I can't.
I think I learned this when I was like 4.
I really only belch if I drink my
seltzers,
or my sparkling waters, and then I just let it rip, and it feels so good.
Today is characteristically the most depressing day of the calendar year. They call it Blue Monday.
That makes me sad.
Which sucks that it's on MLK Day.
And you shouldn't put it out there because now people will have it in the back of their minds. Blue Monday is what it's called. So we shouldn't be depressed today. There's too much
yes, you should.
In this world to be happy about. I'm sure if you sat there, you could think of 2 or 3 things. What's that?
Did you go to your mailbox yet today?
No, what is that?
It's our W4s. That is why
is it so
today...
tiny?
Well, I folded it up so it fit in my pocket. Oh. That is why today is the most depressing day of the year for me. When you look back on a full year of hard work and you go, that's it?
I know. Well, I say that every 16 days.
That's why I don't look at my checks.
I try not to look at the gross or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm like, I can't see that.
And
but
when you look at your W-4, you get the total taxed income and you're like, that's it. Now, who's more depressed than me about that? The government.
Yeah.
Because they could have got a whole lot more money if I'd have been making a whole lot more money. So somebody pony up a little bit.
So let's turn it around. And I want you, Grumpy, to come up with one thing that you can be happy about today instead of depressed.
Well, I'm happy that when I go home, my wife yesterday, so she doesn't have to work today because it's a federal holiday. And she's like, I'm going to do the laundry.
Nice.
I'm going to clean. This place is going to be so clean by the time you get home. And I said, honey, you're going to have to get up at when I get up at 3 a.m. She's like, no, but it'll be really clean when you get home. So that's what I'm looking forward to today.
Okay, that's something good. I get a new toaster today.
Right on.
I'm going to go and, the big decision for me today because I have nothing going on
2
today.
or 4 slices.
Right. So.
Listen, I got to
look at counter space.
I've never made 4 slices my entire life.
I would if I had to.
Really?
Like on Sunday mornings when I make our breakfast, it's like they each want 2 slices. So instead of having somebody eat first, why can't they eat at the same time? because I served up all four
I
slices.
bet my family hasn't gone through a loaf of bread before it's spoiled in 2 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
How wasteful.
There's nobody eating bread.
Then why are you buying bread?
We even get the little packages now.
Really?
Yeah.
The half loaves?
Yeah.
Okay. So, yeah, that's the big one decision for me today, but also something to look forward to. I get a new appliance in my house.
So do me a favor, text us real quick. What's one thing that's really positive about your day today? It's kind of like what our Friday Rock segment is, but instead of it being Blue Monday for you, why does Monday seem like a good optimistic kind of day? Hit us up real quick. Tuesday during our live show, yes, we'll get you more tickets for the Mom Son Superhero Party, which is coming up on the 1st of February. And not too far past 8 o'clock, we're going to put $50,000 in your pocket. So all you got to do is show up Tuesday for the live show and check out the rest of the podcast. Here we go.
So I was listening to this this morning, and these two kids, I don't know if they did it because they would love for that spark to reignite between their divorced parents, but they had taken one of the kids' phones and the other kid's phone, and one called the dad and one called the mom and just held it up speakerphone. And this is what they got.
All right, let's try this again. Who is this?
Kristen, your ex-wife.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
What is going on?
I don't know. I just got a call from Rachel, and it was you. You're on Rachel's phone.
I'm not on Rachel's phone. I'm on my phone.
Okay, well, it says Rachel.
Okay, this is bizarre. I called Sydney's phone from my phone.
That's weird. Yeah, well, you don't have Sydney. You have me.
They just didn't clearly want to talk to each other. Well, what was more amazing is they couldn't figure out that their kids did this.
Right. And maybe the last person that they would want to talk to that day. I think I'd try to go like above and beyond to not be like that for my kid if we were in a divorce. I can't imagine that would feel good for them. But let's say somebody calls you today. Who's the last person you'd want to hear from? And they were on the other line.
Do I have to?
Maybe just say like, you don't want to say a name.
I would say anybody in this company.
Oh, you did it.
When I leave work,
yeah,
I do, unless the place is on fire. Figure it out. I'll be back in the morning.
Okay.
Like, I want to hear from nobody else unless you're calling me to go, hey, we've got this killer new endorsement from Porsche for you.
Yeah.
Or, hey, somebody wants to build you a house and then you get to talk about it on the radio. It can wait till tomorrow.
Yeah.
That's it.
I would say I have a cousin whose husband says so much of nothing. And if I got a call from him today, I just know that it will just be such a long call. And he's so nice, but it's like my dentist, Dr. Durger. It like says so much of like nothing and just kind of like a time
You're a
waster.
substance girl?
Yeah.
So let's do
Give me
this real
something.
quick. Is there one particular person that you just don't want to hear from today? If your phone rings today and you look down, you do not want that to be whom, Kat?
I would say my cousin's husband, who such a nice guy, but it's those conversations that just don't go anywhere and they're forever. And you know, Derek's like, you're going to miss it when it's gone.
You just send it to
I
voicemail?
don't know. I don't know if I would miss it. I don't get them often. So if I knew I was going to get one, I was like, oh, God. I don't know if I want to answer this.
Hey, BT, who don't you want to be on the other line if the phone rings this afternoon?
Oh, that's easy. 2 letters. P-O.
Your parole officer.
But
All
why
right.
would they be calling you? Are you doing something that you shouldn't be doing? Or maybe they have good news.
No, nothing good comes out of a phone call. Good news usually shows up in the mail. So,
Oh, yeah. Been through this more than once.
So what are you on parole for?
good that's personal.
Okay.
No,
You called us, sir.
We didn't call to spill everything. So how many times has that happened where you've looked on your phone and it's been your parole officer? Has that actually ever happened?
It's not parole. It's actually just probation.
Oh,
so
probation. Sorry.
It's not that. Yeah, I've never been to the big house.
All right. Well, straight and narrow. Life's better.
Yeah, yep, we're all good. So
okay.
We're not expecting to call, but you ask the questions. I'm just answering them.
All right, we appreciate it, man. Have a great morning. Stay clean.
See ya.
Yeah.
Take care.
What do you think it was?
He just. Oh, what did we,
petty theft. Like 1 for you, 2 for me.
I'm gonna guess.
He didn't go to jail. Or do you have to go to jail? He didn't go to the big house.
He didn't go to the big house. So I'm gonna guess he had enough where he could have enough weed where he could have distributed, but it was just for his personal use, and he got busted with it.
That's what
I'm
maybe.
Emily on the other line is going to be somebody who you just don't want to hear today from. Who would it be?
My mother-in-law.
Oh, no.
Oh, why?
I hate when I hear that because I have the best mother-in-law. So does she make just life hard for you or what?
It's gotten better. I shouldn't say that. It's gotten better. It's just, yeah, my husband set boundaries, which is really great.
Good.
So, as he should, but we moved very close to them. And so it was popping over nonstop, even when I was working from home. And it's like, no, I'm working. You just can't stop over on a Wednesday
So she would
at
just
9
stop
a.m.
over and hang out? Or
The
would there be a
pop-ins.
purpose?
Yeah, the pop-in.
Yeah.
I can hear it in your voice how you're just like, oh, my God, I can't believe we moved this close to these people.
Yeah.
I like helping from the outside. I really don't like... I get caught up in the bureaucracy and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I would want to change too much because I see the holes and I figure I can do a little bit more work from the outside. So what have you been president of? And Amy's mom was president of what?
My mother is the president of the pool club.
And how do you feel about this?
I think it's... I don't know. Anyways, it's for old people. But
Okay.
So she's in a condominium type area, and the lady that was the president is no longer alive. She's just no longer with us.
Right.
And so somebody had to take over. And my mom calls me one day. She goes, "Guess what I'm the president of?" And I'm like, "I don't know. Where you work now? Congrats. Whatever." She's like, "No, I'm president of the pool club now for our condominium." I'm like,
nice.
That sounds boring.
What does that mean?
I think you. I think you arrange for the pool cleaning, and I think you make sure nobody has any glass bottles near the pool, and there's no horseplay, and you enforce those kind of rules when you're president of the pool club.
Someone definitely fluffed her feathers by calling her president because that sounds like work. That doesn't sound like fun.
It reminded me when she was talking about that of the Seinfeld episode where Jerry's dad gets impeached.
Yeah.
He's president of Del Boca Vista.
Yep.
And then he gets impeached, and he's got to try and buy all the votes by giving everyone a tip calculator.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever been president of anything? And if so, how'd that go for you? Call, hit us with a text, maybe a DM or an email. We'd love for you to participate.
So we will have certain things planned throughout the show, but if you have a problem, man, that takes precedent. So we just move things around for Allison because she's going through something.
Yeah, tell us what's going on here with your dog or cat, maybe.
So I've been dating this guy, for a little while, and things are kind of progressing, getting serious. And my cat, Pickles, she's my life. She's my ride or die. She's been around through it all. We've moved 5 different times,
Yeah.
But she just does not like him.
Oh.
What does she do, though, to make it known that she doesn't like this person? Does she just stay away? Or...
She legit, well, first of all, she will give him, the meanest side eye, which I know cats kind of have,
It's a cat.
An RBF, but she will look at him like she's going to kill him, and then she will hiss if he comes close to me, which she doesn't. That's not the kind of cat that she is. But she does pick and choose. If she doesn't like you, she will hiss, which is so weird, and then she'll even stick her butt in his face. I don't know. She is just so. She hates him, and we can't cuddle. If we're watching a movie and she's around, I can't cuddle with him.
But Pickles, that's what your cat's name is, Pickles?
Yeah.
But Pickles hasn't been this territorial with anyone else?
She kind of, not as territorial. She definitely does not like every person.
This is a red flag. I would listen to Pickles. I think they got an intuition, man.
But it's also a cat. It's not like a terrier. A terrier, has those instincts. A cat just, most of the time hates everybody.
Yeah, well, yeah. And I don't know what to do because, I'm really into this guy. He's, honestly, it's the man of my dreams. I can't even believe that we're here. And I want to move forward with him. And he even was like, he brought up to me, he's like, maybe we need to rehome Pickle.
Oh.
And I'm like,
so those are.
I don't think he understands that this is my child, you know?
But this could be your forever. This could be the man that gives you your babies.
Hey, what if you had him have like cat treats in his pocket? Do you think Pickles would be nice to him then? Like that could easily bridge this gap. If the cat all of a sudden likes him because of the treats, then maybe the cat will start warming up to him.
I say try anything and everything first. And then
okay,
yeah.
I haven't tried that. I mean, we've tried him giving her treats, but maybe him keeping them on him. Yeah. Maybe that would help.
Yeah, let's do this. I'm going to put you on hold real quick, Allison. If you got recommendations, maybe you've been through this, like you had a pet and that pet was through the roughest of times with you, and then you start dating someone and the pet really doesn't love that person. How'd you get through that?
I can imagine that this will be a difficult situation for either the boyfriend or for Pickles.
If somebody asked me to be the ring man at a wedding, I think I would just say I'm not interested.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's kind of ridiculous.
I'm very surprised. It was a huge fad this past summer and then the summer before to hire a grown-up, not hire, but like tell somebody, hey, you're going to be walking down. Like he would throw cans of Coors into the audience. Chrissy, I knew people had done this. She said, my friend Lisa was my flower woman. She handed out White Claws and daisies as she walked down the aisle. Allison said I would totally feel and take it like I was an afterthought.
Yes.
Like, oh, let's try to work you into it. And that's what I was telling my cousin who was texting with me. She said, what do you think of this idea of having our cousin Katie, who's like in her mid-30s, walk down as the flower woman and do something like that? But the thing is,
I almost feel like you're getting made fun of.
Most of us female cousins are all in the wedding party. So she asked me on Thursday if I would be a part of the wedding party as a bridesmaid. And
there's not one little girl that can be cute and stumble down the aisle and drop a bunch of
kids under 5, under 7 that could do this. And I said, we got to find something else for her to do because I don't want there to be any bad juju that day. And I feel like it's going to go off.
I would be interested to hear from anyone who went non-traditional on this.
Megan says flower grandparents. It's the cutest thing I've seen on the internet lately. I got to Google that. Flower grandparents. So they walk down, give them a roll. That would be really sweet.
Get Dick and Ellie a couple little scooters. Have them just truck down the aisle.
I think there's something so important about working in the elders of the family, not just to have them sit in a chair and then put them at a special table so they can just sit there and watch the party. Because I had an older person once describe, like, when you get to a certain age, you're merely a spectator. And to have it a big day to work in those very important people that probably helped raise you. You got a spot for your mom, your dad, your step parents, but never grandparents. I really like that idea. That's really cute, but that's not the conundrum we're in.
Did you go with like a non-traditional flower girl? What is it? It's flower girl, right?
Flower girl. Ring bearer.
And ring bearer.
Yeah.
Did you go with something a little bit non-traditional? If so, how did that play out for you? And were people kind of taken aback? I'd love to get your story on real quick. You want to call us?